pressure on each other. UNC really challenging UCF in that last part of the race. They did take back some water and some space from them. I think it's one of those things where you do run out of water towards the end of the race. And we have a start in the second flight of our first varsity fours. We've got lane 3 Radcliffe, lane 2 IU, and a clean start underway from both crews.
Hard to see from our current shot, but it looks like IU really blasting out of the start, creating a bit of an advantage. And yes, almost bow to stern.
Wow, what a great start. Radcliffe crew opening up some space between themselves and IU very early in this race, establishing a dominant position less than a minute in. A defining starting sequence as they settle into their base pace here.
And the other Radcliffe crews have used a similar tactic coming out of the start. Just trying to use those first couple 15 seconds where the rowers are still relatively fresh, aren't carrying so much muscular fatigue, well warmed up to really blast out the blocks and create an advantage early.
I would say Radcliffe has maybe now a seat of open water over Indiana.
Yeah, and they've settled into what looks like a really sustainable pace. Boat moving really well. Great timing from stroke all the way down to bow, which as the boat gets smaller, that gets trickier and trickier to do, to set that boat, get everything moving together. Obviously a lot easier to do today when the water's flat, but still not an easy thing, especially in your season opener.
Absolutely. When we think about the proportion of your impact in the boat, when you're in an 8 as a rower, you have 9 folks in the boat, your coxswain is sitting in the back running the show, but you've got 8 people who make about 12% of the boat moving speed. In a 4, you're 25%. You have a greater impact when you sit in a seat in a 4. And so every person in a 4 needs to really move well together. The smaller your boat gets, the more important it is that you all move together. It's important in an 8 that everyone swings together and moves together really well, but it's more magnified the smaller your boat gets.
Yeah, I have to believe Radcliffe head coach Claire Ohal is, watching on and pretty happy with how her crew is rowing right now.
They've opened up maybe 2 boat lengths of water between themselves and Indiana.
And at the collegiate level, athletes are going to find their top form at different times. You have people that have a lot of training background. You have people that are coming into the sport relatively fresh. And as a coach, I have to believe that's difficult to always find that right lineup and get the people that are moving the boats the quickest and in the best shape into the place where they can have the most impact.
Absolutely. If fours land, as we called it at Ohio State, maybe still do call it, is anything like other fours programs, these boats are battling it out constantly. Seat racing is a part of every spring season where you switch out athletes in the boat. You literally pull boats together on the water and have athletes swap seats and to see who is making a difference in the shell they're in, who's moving the boat the fastest. And so in the fours, that happens a lot, especially as you have these tighter crews of 4. You're seeing who has a greater impact on boat speed. Even coxswains get moved around. Sometimes a crew just responds better to a particular coxswain. And here we are seeing coxswains having a great race in both crews, keeping their crews motivated to have a strong race here.
Yeah, great tight shot of this Radcliffe 4 looking super together. Looking, as comfortable as one can be rowing a 2K, not under huge pressure, but clearly at a racing speed, racing effort.
And some times for you at the 1,000-meter mark. Radcliffe at a 3:31, Indiana at a 3:41. Radcliffe establishing a dominant 10-second lead at the halfway point in this race.
So we talked a little bit yesterday about the mental game when you start to get into the separation like this, about, creating kind of races within the race, finding waypoints, trying to chunk up the race and bring as much speed as you can to each part, sort of regardless of what your opponent's doing. And that's the same if you're front running. Mm-hmm. You still need to make sure that you're opening that margin. Like we said before, coaches are watching this one thinking, is that 3 seed in the first 4 doing pretty well? Is there a place for them in the second 8? So even though like this isn't the tightest racing we've had, still meaningful for these athletes and programs.
Absolutely. You are racing the other athletes in your program when you show up on the water. You are racing the clock. You are working to show your team and your program that you can move the boat the fastest. It's the most sportsmanlike thing to do, to give your best effort all the time. It would not be good if we saw a boat get out ahead and then just chill. That's not what this Radcliffe crew boat is doing. They are staying moving. They look like they're making it easy here, rowing a great collected race. That's one thing. When the rowing looks easy is when, these athletes are still working hard. Just because it looks smooth and easy doesn't mean it's any less of an effort, but that's a good element of this crew. They have a lot of swing, which is that ephemeral thing we're looking for. You literally swing every time you take a stroke, but when the whole boat moves together, there's a special feeling when it picks up. There's very little drag. You're all moving truly in sync. And you would think rowers get access to that all the time. It actually doesn't happen that often when you find this true moment of swing. It's the kind of a beautiful thing about the sport that keeps people coming back to it, that they keep searching for it. It's an amazing thing when you have a crew that gets to develop over a season and builds that swing. Nothing feels better. It's the culmination of your expertise and your conditioning and your strength in that sport is to be able to achieve that. And we're seeing that here in both crews. Radcliffe, great swing. Indiana, great swing in this race.
Yeah, and to my eye, Indiana is starting to find a little bit more of that rhythm, find a little bit more of the power as this race goes on. Sometimes even if you're not making the result that you wanted, you can still accomplish a process goal. So I'm sure that, Indiana went into this race with some technical cues. Head coach Steve Peterson, I'm sure, is looking at this thinking, okay, what adjustments can I make? What are we going to be working on? What's the focus going to be once we get back?
Absolutely. Radcliffe approaching the line, cool, calm, collected, a strong race, executing their sprint.
Yeah, it looks like they're about to launch into their top pace right about as they go across the line.
Indiana here with a strong finish. A great showing from both of these crews. There's Indiana across the line. We'll take you back up to the start where the second varsity fours are lining up. We've got UNC in lane 4, OSU in lane 3, UCF